All right, everyone. Welcome to another 30-day redemption. This is day 11, and we are doing another mind, body, and spirit segment. We have completed all of our mind segment, and we're now moving into the body segment. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my screen so we can share this presentation with you all. Bear with me 1 second. So today we're going to do the first of our body segment, and the topic is called energy healing, and this is a workshop. I'm sorry. Oops, I apologize. I'm sorry. Doing the wrong screen. Okay, EFT tapping. At the end, we'll talk about the energy healing workshop. So today, on our 11th day, which is the first day of our body segment, we're going to be doing an EFT tapping, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and how to manage fear and anxiety. And we have our own Rafaela Silva of Restart and Be Fit, and she's going to go deeper into this subject so that you can really be edified on how to heal yourself. And that's especially important now because of all that is going on in the world and the need for us to be healed. And part of also why we're doing a 30-day redemption. So I wanted to bring Rafaela on. Before I do, and before she starts, the disclaimer that we have is the opinions expressed in this presentation are those of the presenter. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of the 30-day redemption or its members, officers, staff, partners, or advertisers. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen. Rafaela, if you can queue up your screen and take over and pick up from there and do your presentation.
All right, thank you so much, Kashab, for that introduction, and welcome everybody. Like Kashab mentioned, I think most of you know me, Rafaela Silva, and today we're going to be talking about EFT, what it is, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you guys. Everybody can see my screen?
I can.
All right, perfect. So what is EFT? So EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It's an alternative treatment for physical pain and emotional distress. It is also referred to as tapping or psychological acupressure. So if any of you, I know a lot of you might be familiar with acupuncture. Not sure if any of you are familiar with acupressure. So with acupuncture, they use needles on your body. With acupressure, they actually use the fingertips, and they actually apply a little bit of pressures on what is called your meridian points, which we're going to go over in just a second. So in this particular case, tapping is what we call the psychological acupressure because it's used to treat emotional issues. Okay. So tapping the body can create a balance in your energy system and treat pain. According to its developer, Gary Craig, he says that a disruption in energy is the cause of all negative emotions and pain. So I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this. Whenever someone tells you something or you're met with some sort of news, somewhere in your body, there is this discomfort. For some people, for me, it's usually my stomach. For some people, it could be a headache. Other people could be back pain. So every time we are met with any sort of news that affects your emotions, we immediately feel in our body. So what happens is when we're hearing that information, at that moment, because your body is supposed to be in the flow. The way that the body flows is you breathe in, the air goes the energy goes all the way down to your feet and comes back up to your brain. So it doesn't, some people think sometimes it's the brain and the body, but it goes down and then up, kind of like the chakra, where it starts from the root up to the head. Same way when we breathe or when we receive information, it goes down to your body and comes back up. Okay. So whenever there is a disruption in their energy, in your energy field of your body, that's when your negative emotions begin to pop up. Like I said, some people's heart races, other people, they feel this knot on their stomach. Others, like I said, have a headache or back pain. So those are just signs that your energy has been disrupted because of something you either have heard or someone said something to you. So that's what happens. And today we're going to also, just want to let you guys know, we're going to actually go through the process of tapping. So I'm going to just talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to actually do it in just a few. So let's see here. So how does EFT tapping work? Okay. So EFT focuses on the meridian points, what we also call the energy hotspots. And if you look to the graph here on the right, I don't know if anybody has ever gone into an acupuncture or even some places where people get massages, you will see this graph on the wall. I think sometimes we look at it, we think it's just the human body, like we go to the doctor's office and we see the different muscle groups. But if you ever gone into an acupuncture clinic, you will see this graph, this graph of the meridians on the wall. So, and what the meridian points do is to restore balance to your body's energy. So as you can see, there's actually 231 meridian points. Today, we're going to just be looking at 12 of them. But your body, just like your muscle system, your blood vessels, we also have what's called an energy, Kashat was talking about the other day, patterns in our bodies, okay? So the meridians of the bodies we call it a network or energy channels. And the meridian lines are thought to connect the surface of the body with your internal organs. So that is why when we are faced with something that causes that disruption in energy, the first place that we feel the discomfort is mostly in our organs. So our stomach get upset stomach. Like I said, your heart start beating fast. And that is the reason why we begin to sometimes develop certain diseases, or our blood pressure goes up. For some people that are suffering from diabetes, their sugar goes up. So all of those things are connected. The energy is connected to our internal organs. So when the Q, what's called energy, can flow through these energy channels, balance is restored. It relieves symptoms that was caused by a negative experience and emotion, and it can also prevent diseases. So whenever we begin to do the exercise of tapping, and also, let me go back to the screen. And also, and along with breathing exercises and other things, we begin to restore the energy in our bodies. So our bodies, or what I like to believe, that we're all really we're just energy fields. And so whenever there's that disruption, we are out of balance. So sometimes when you think about some of the things that you're feeling or experiencing, it could be that I like to describe as parts of your body where their energy is blocked or is not flowing. So it could be anything. It could be a pain in your arm. It could be a knee pain or a joint pain. So every time there is any sort of pain in your body, that means that the energy in the area of your body is either, I would like to, when you go to the doctors and the doctor look at your heart, your heart's not functioning, and they say, well, there's a clog in your artery. Just like we have clogs in arteries, there's also what I like to call clogs in our energy fields, okay? So, and of course, if not treated, it can also develop into other types of diseases. So if you're not treating stress, stress would eventually, give you heart disease, which is one of the number one factors of heart disease is actually stress. So energy, making sure that your energy is balanced or your energy levels are balanced is very important for your health. So, and EFT is one of those techniques that can kind of help you maintain or balance those energy channels. Okay. All right, let's see here. So EFT tapping in 5 steps. So in order for EFT tapping to work, just like any other thing, like say if you were going to go to the doctor, we have to identify the issue, right? So if you go to the doctor and you said, I'm feeling this way, the left side of my body is hurting, I'm feeling these sharp pains, you have to identify, we have to just describe what it is in order to identify the issue. So what does that look like with EFT? So identifying the issue is, what is the cause of the discomfort? What is the cause of the discomfort? What is it that you are fearful of or stressed about or having anxiety about? So I want you to take this moment to just put that on a thought of your mind. If you want to write it down, you can. You don't have to, but I want you to focus right now identifying what the issue is. Is it money? Is it COVID-19? Is it your children? Is it lack of work? Whatever that may be, it might not have nothing to do with what's going on in the world right now. It could be something that's been ongoing in your life, and you haven't dealt with it. So I want you to first identify what the issue is. Okay. So take a moment to think about that. What is it that I'm experiencing? What is the anxiety? What is the fear? What am I most fearful of? And you also want to make sure that as you're identifying the issue, that is something that is relating to you. So for example, let's say you have a loved one that might be sick in a hospital. So the issue is not that the loved one is sick in the hospital. The issue is that you're feeling sad about that loved one being in a hospital. So you want to make sure that the issue is connected with you and not outside of you. Okay. All right. So now that we have identified the issue, I want you to think about what is the intensity. And when I say intensity, on a scale of 0 to 10, how, my anxiety is at a 0, or is it a 5? Is it an 8? Or is it at a 10? Like I'm so anxious that I can't even think, I can't even focus. Okay. So I want you to think about what it is that you have identified. And I want you to measure the intensity of where that is right now. Okay. And if you want to write it down, you can. If you just want to keep that number in your head, because we're going to, at the end, look at this one more time. Okay. All right. So again, in order for it to work, we have to acknowledge, okay? We have to acknowledge the issue. And we're going to go over a phrase that's going to help us acknowledge the issue and also accept yourself despite the problem. So first you have to acknowledge the issue. What do I mean by that? Most of the times we're dealing with something and we think that by pushing it away, it's going to go away. Not meaning that you have to deal with that at that particular very moment or handle it, but acknowledging that it's there. You know what? I am anxious about something. This is happening. That's what it is. Acknowledging for what it is instead of saying, oh, I don't want to think about this. I don't want to stress myself with that. This will resolve itself. That's pushing it away and not acknowledging that's what's happening. Okay. So acknowledging the issue. Okay. And we're going to go over accepting yourself despite the problem. We're going to go over that as we go through the tapping exercise. okay? All right, so, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to put my camera on in just a second. We're going to go over this, but I first want to just kind of go over what the sequence is, and I'm going to show you on video how to, what the order of it's going to be, but I just kind of want to go over it with you. So there's what we call the karate chop, which is connected to your small intestine, your meridian, okay? So it's interesting that, I don't know if anybody has ever gotten, what is it called? I forgot now when you go and get your feet. But a lot of our points are connected to our organs. As you can see, most of the diseases that we have starts with our organs, okay? So the carotid chop, which is when you look at your hand, right on the side, by your pinky finger, if you see it right there on the chart, that's where, this is where your small intestine is connected to your small intestine, okay? So sometimes when you think about, also when people say when you have a healthy gut, you feel happy. So it's interesting how that is also connected to our small intestine, okay? Then there's the top of the head, which is the governing vessel, all right? And then you have your eyebrow, which is connected to your bladder. Then there's the side of the eye, which is connected also to your gallbladder. And then there's under the eye, which is connected to your stomach. And then there is under your nose, which is a central vessel. And then there is the collarbone, which is your connected to your kidney, okay? And then there's under the arm that's connected to your spleen. And again, we're gonna go over this exercise in just a second. And I wanted to show you that I thought it was really interesting. And I can post this later on Facebook if you guys want to have this graph. But how EFT is related to some acupuncture points. So, like for example, the top of the head, which it releases it helps release when we tap that area of your head. It helps release inner critic, also lack of focus. It allows, when you do release those tensions, it allows for insight, intuition, spiritual connection, focus, wisdom. When we do the eyebrow, this is the area where we release trauma, hurt, sadness, and it allows inner peace and emotional healing. There's the side of the eye, which releases rage, anger, resentment, fear, muddled thinking. When that is cleared, it allows clarity for you to have more compassion and understanding. Under the eye, which is the stomach meridian, releases fear. Again, that fear, anxiety, worry, all connected to your gut. When that is released, then it gives you more contentment, calmness, feeling safe. So I know for me, when I'm stressed out, I'm nervous, the last thing I want to do is eat because I'm feeling that in my stomach, okay? I used to think that because of my family, we used to always have a lot of food when there were happy times. I used to think it was connected to that, but it really wasn't. It just was that energy field was just blocked. And then there you have under the nose, which is when it's blocked, there's embarrassment, there's shame, guilt, grief. When it's released, allows for self-empowerment, self-acceptance, and compassion. Then we have our chin, which is where if it's blocked, there's confusion, uncertainty. And if it's released, again, when you release that out, it allows for certainty, clarity, self-confidence. Then we have our collarbone, which is psychological reversal, worry, indecision. So when we're stuck on something, when that is released, it allows for easy moving forward, confidence and clarity. And we have our underarm, and we'll stop at the underarm. Again, when that is, when it's blocked, there's guilt, obsessing, worry. And then when that's released, it allows for clarity, confidence, relaxation, and compassion and self for others, okay? So I'm gonna go over, I'm going to put my camera on just a second. I welcome you guys to put your camera on as well. And I'm going to go ahead and promote you guys to, I'm going to bring you guys in. So you guys should be getting a little pop on your screen. All right. All right, give me 1 second here. Let me pull you guys up. All right, can anybody see me yet? Not yet. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me stop my screen share. All right, can everybody see me?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So I'm going to bring you guys on video. I'm going to go over the tapping so you guys can see and follow. And then I'm going to pull up the screen again so we can do it with that phrase, okay? Now, I'm going to guide you guys through. We can do a general, okay? And you can also think about what it is that you wrote down earlier, because we're going to be on mute. So not everybody's going to be speaking at the same time, but I do want to be able to see everyone just to make sure that I can see you guys are doing it properly. And see, did I get everybody? I think I did. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
All right. Okay, fantastic. So I'm gonna pull up the screen just a second, but I just wanted to show you. Everybody can see me clear. Let me just move a little bit this way so I can walk the light. Everybody can see me good?
Yes.
Okay, so I have my glasses off, so you guys might be a little blurry, okay? All right, so we're first gonna start with our palm, okay? So normally the way we start with our palm, so if you're right-handed, you want to tap on your left, okay? If you're left-handed, the other way around. So you want to make sure if you're right-handed or left-handed. So if you're right-handed like me, you want to tap on the side of your left hand, okay? You can either do it with 2 fingers or you can do it with all your 4 fingers when it comes to your hand, okay? And we're going to tap this 7 times, okay? 1, 2. So I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to go over the phrase with you in just a second, okay? So you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? So you just tap right here, okay? Good. The second part, I'm going to take 2 fingers, and right here above our eyebrow, right above this side, right here above our eyebrow, you're going to tap, okay? And then we're going to move to the side here of our temple, right by the side of our eye. Okay. Then we're going to go right under our eye. So this little bone right here that we have, this little soft spot right here under our eye, we're going to tap right there. Okay. Then we're going to go to under our nose right here. We're going to tap here. Okay. Then we're going to move to our chin. And then we're going to move to right here under our collarbone. See where the collarbone is? Right below this area of our collarbone. We're going to tap. So I want to make sure that your collarbone is right here. You want to go right below. So you don't want to tap on your collarbone, right below your collarbone. Okay, so your bone is right here and then right below. Okay, this little area right here. So you want to tap right there. Okay. Then we're going to do right under your arm, right here, right to the side of your rib cage. Okay, so if you feel your rib cage right here, right up here, and you want to tap this area. And the last part we're going to tap is on the top of our heads. Okay, so the way we're going to do it, we're going to repeat that phrase. I'm going to bring the screen back up. Let's see here. So as we do it, okay, and I'll bring the screen back up just a second. I'm going to just go through it really fast. So whatever it is that you thought about or what you wrote down that what you're dealing with right now, the way we're going to do it is even though I have this fear, whatever that fear is or the problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay? Even though I have this fear or this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear or this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear or this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear or whatever the problem is, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear or this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear or this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear or this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay. Even though I have this fear or this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Yeah. So I'll walk you guys through. I can actually say that mantra. I'm gonna put your guys on mute. If you want to, as we get to the part where we say, even though I'm anxious about, even though I am anxious about this, I deeply and completely accept myself. So let's say, for example, even though I am anxious about my health, I deeply and completely accept myself. So whatever it is that you wrote down in regards to what you're dealing with right now, I want you to be able to actually say that, okay? So we're gonna go over that for a few minutes, okay? We're gonna talk about what the intensity is at the end, see if there's any different in change. And if we have a little bit of time, I wanna go over some tapping of your whole entire body so that it can also help with your blood flow of your body, okay? So you guys ready to get started? All right, so here we go. So we're gonna start with a palm of your hands, and we're gonna go ahead and say, even though I am anxious about or fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious or fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious or fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious or fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though, down to the under your nose, even though I am fearful and anxious about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am fearful and anxious about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am fearful and anxious about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am fearful and anxious about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I completely and deeply accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I am anxious and fearful about, I deeply and completely accept myself. All right, so take a deep breath. So we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to take a deep breath 1 and 2, and then exhale to 4. So I'm going to do the count. So I'm going to inhale 1, 2, and then release 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale on count 1, 2, and then release 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale 1, 2, and then release 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So I'm going to bring my screen back up now. So what was if anybody want to share, if there was if the intensity as you began with the intensity now, did anybody saw a difference?
I did. Felt that it helped after maybe like the second or third round. What my fear and anxiety was no longer existed.
No longer existed. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
What was the intensity when you began?
It was a 9.
It was a 9.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was high. So now you say it's existence, so it's at 0.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's amazing. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a 9. So now it's a 0. Wow, that's impressive. Anyone else?
Same. My anxiety was up there.
Was up there.
Yeah. It was like, time was like at 10, jittery and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was doing the breathing and the counting and just focusing, on the words and the tapping. It did bring it down a lot. So yeah. I feel a whole lot better.
How much would you say it is now?
Well, I was at a 10, girl. So I'm at a 10.
It can be so expensive.
I was doing something and I was just like, oh yeah, and I could feel the adrenaline and the anxiety in my body. So when I just, brought it back down, and it's like, yeah, I'm at a 0. So I'm feeling
0. This is amazing. I'm loving these 10 to 0s,
Yeah, so I know what to do now.
Amazing. That's awesome.
And I'm not usually like one of those where I can't, do how you do what is it? Where you go like this?
Yeah.
I can't do that. So talking and doing this, like I got it. And I can't do that sometimes. And I got this one. So it's a good one.
Awesome. Well, fantastic.
I like it. Thank you.
That makes
Mine
me
was
so happy
great too.
I'm going to teach my son that.
Yeah.
And let me just say this. You can, with children, it works wonders. And I've seen where people actually, when the babies are, sometimes babies have colics, they get like NC and things like that. I've seen where people have actually done it with the babies. So it's good for babies as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yes, Rafaela.
Yes. Hi, Darrell.
Hi. I muted the video because when I got on, these staples, when I tell you, were stinging so bad in my stomach from my surgery, and it was killing me. I said I can't even show but I was doing it with you all, and now I don't even feel stinging. I don't even feel the stinging. Wow. Yeah, and it was killing me, and I'm good with pain, and I don't even feel it now.
Wow, amazing. So as you can see, how we are really made of energy. Okay, and the things that we're dealing with, like I said, it's a disruption, and of course, the only way that we know that there is a disruption is because our bodies react, and that's our bodies telling us, saying, "Hey, there's something going on here. You need to, do something about it. You need to first calm yourself down, and then whatever that is, you can take action." Because I believe, the scripture says that that the Lord has not given the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So whenever there's anything to be taken action on, should never be in a space of anxiety or fear. If it is, and there's no action should be taken there, because it's definitely not coming from the Lord. So we always have to be in a space of peace in order for us to focus, make decisions, and take actions on what it is that we need to take. So this is a good exercise to make sure you're balancing your energy to 0, right? So that whatever it is that you have to do, what you need to focus on for that day, or whatever decision you have to make, can be in that state of peace. Okay?
I just wanted to add something, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it just I didn't reminded me of I just thought about the cognitive process of it, and I was thinking about the fact that kids that have the autism, and when somebody invented the fidget spinner.
You're in the camera.
Like just the fact that they like when they get anxious, they start doing the same repeative action a few times, and somebody says, "Oh, take this, calm down," and they do it, and then that kind of helps them to relax. So I can see how that can actually have the same kind of like a repetitive like chime can actually have that kind of effect.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just not just with EFT, but also with any other thing that you do repetitively. If you're speaking to yourself, affirmations, eventually, if you're telling yourself things that are positive, things that are good, eventually, like I said, everything's energy. It's going to start to do a shift. it's going to start to shift. There's no way not to. You know, the world says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So if we are speaking life and we're speaking these things, again, it's the energy that we're allowing it to flow through our bodies. You know, so, you know, we do have the power to command these things. So yeah, absolutely. The whole you know, so you just got to keep doing it without season every time. Just like when you're, you know, when you're thirsty, whenever your body tells you what you need, your body's going to say, you need food, you need water, you need to relax, you need to do, your body's going to tell you that you need to stop. It's up to us to listen and obey, right? So that there is no other disruption. Because there's disruption, there's no flow, nothing, things don't get done, you know, things are blocked. I have a tendency to sometimes, you know, I get clutter mind. And so what I do normally when I get to that space, I just stop everything and go into a space and I stop and I start to breathe and I start to meditate, because there's so many things that I have to do. So if I don't stop to, you know, allow my energy to continue to flow, nothing else gets done, right? So I pay attention to these things to say, okay, there's something going on, something's happening, something just took place, so that I can address it right away so that we can keep moving and keep working on what we're working on. Anyone else? Nope. Okay, so we do have a little bit of time, and I want to show you guys another form of tapping that you can do every single morning when you wake up. It's best to do it in the morning. It's best to do it before any food, before any water in your body, okay? Because what it does, it allows to, as you tap the rest of your body, it allows for toxins also. Not only is it going to help with your blood circulation, but it also helps with the energy that is going to allow some toxins to come out, okay? So when you tap in these other parts of your body, you're bringing that energy of the toxins. You know, sometimes when you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing that we do? Let me actually stop sharing my screen. The first thing that we do is, you know, go to the potty, right? Our bodies are releasing toxins first thing in the morning. So you want to do this first thing in the morning before drinking any water. And then after you finish, drink some water, normally like a warm or room temperature water, so that it can actually help your organs begin to function throughout the day, okay? So let me move my chair here really quick, and I'm gonna put my thing. And if you guys want to get up and join me, let's see here. I'll move back. Can everybody still see and hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, hold on one second. Is it better?
Yes.
Anybody see my feet?
Your knees and your
No.
legs, not your toes.
No.
How about now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, let me take my glasses off. Okay, so everybody want to get up and join me if you have space in your house to join me. Let me pull this up a little bit. And if you don't have to do it on a yoga mat, I usually do it on a yoga mat, but you don't have to, it's not required. You can do this in a room in your house. First thing when you get up in the morning, okay? All right, so we're going to start with the tip of your fingers, same thing that we used for our face and everything else. We're going to use the same idea, okay? So we're going to start by tapping our shoulder, okay? Tapping our shoulder, right above our shoulder, okay? And we're going to do one side first, because I want you guys to see some sort of difference, okay? Then our arm, I'll turn our arm this way. We're going to move down. And then our wrist. Then our hand. Our hand. And our finger. Okay? And we're going to turn our arm and then do the top of your hand. gonna move up to our wrist. And our arm, forearm. The top of our arm. And then back to our shoulder. Okay, so I want you to stop for a minute, and I want you to feel the difference between the arm you just tapped, I'm not sure if it was the right or the left, and the other arm. Is there a difference that you feel?
Yes.
Yeah?
On one side.
You feel like a tingling? Do you feel a tingling on the one side? Everybody feels a tingling? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So that's your blood flow, okay? So you're actually helping your blood flow. So we're gonna do that on the other arm, okay? Same thing. Shoulder. And down the arm. Whoops. And then your forearm. Your wrist. The palm of your hand. Your finger. You're gonna flip, same thing. Go back upward. Palm of your hand. Back on the top of the wrist again. We're going up. And then up to the arm. And your shoulder. I'm gonna move to the chest. On the side here, your heart, right above your chest. One side. And if you feel like you wanna go, you can do it too. Whatever noise you wanna make, it is, I definitely recommend, I know it sounds so silly, but you're releasing all that energy out. Other side, so whatever sound you want to make, you can make. You're releasing all that tension, all that worry, all that stress, okay? Now, we're gonna make a fist, just like that. Let me see if you can. Okay, just like that. And right here, right on our gut, this part right here of our body is right here, okay? This will help a lot of our anxiety, a lot of our stress, a lot of our worry. So we're gonna hit right here, right below our chest. Okay, right below our chest. And we're just gonna hit. So let me move closer. Right here, right below. So you wanna make sure it's right below, above your stomach, right below your chest, okay? And if you wanna make sound, that's fine. You just release it. Sometimes, if you're just dealing with something and you don't have the time to go through the meridian points, just hitting this part of your body, it actually helps. Okay, just tapping right there, it actually helps. Okay. Now with the same fist, we're gonna make the same fist, both hands, and we're gonna tap around our tummies in a clockwise motion, okay? This, you're warming up your intestines, okay? This helps with your digestion. So if you have issues digesting food or processing food, this kind of helps it. It warms it up. It helps with your digestive system, okay? So around, ooh, ooh. We're gonna do our side. And then our legs.
A little bit.
I know in the beginning it might feel a little weird because like, ouch, it actually kind of hurts a little bit. That's okay, because we're not used to doing it, okay? That means you're waking up your body. you go down, place your knees in the back of your knees. And then your hands. All right, your chin. Chin, not your chin. Coming out. And then your feet. Okay, both of your feet. And then come back up. Knees. And your thighs. Your hips. Our glutes. A little bit of our lower back. Now, if you have someone at home that can actually tap your lower back or your upper back, that's also good too, okay? You can reach there, all right? All right, now shake it off. Okay, how you guys feeling?
Good.
Good? Now I want you to kind of be in the moment and feel what you're feeling. Do you feel energy? Do you feel, if you can share with me what you feel, you can describe for me.
I think it feels like a tingle going from down and up or something.
Uh-huh, good.
Up or down.
That's good. It means you're actually helping your energy flow. Your blood is now circulating better, okay? So that's exactly what you're supposed to be feeling, a tingling everywhere. Some people might even sweat, like I sweat. I'm sweating right now. But that's good. It means your blood is flowing, your energy is flowing through your body. Anybody else feel anything different?
Nah, I can just feel the blood flowing. I can feel the blood in my fingertips. I can feel it.
You can feel it flow. Good. Anybody else feel anything different?
Feel thirsty.
That's good. That's perfect. I'm glad you brought that up. Anybody else feel anything different? No? So good. You know, Alex mentioned she feels thirsty. So that's perfect because exactly what is supposed to happen. Okay. The first thing we're supposed to do every morning when we get up is help our blood flow, because remember, we've been sleeping. Everything is kind of like, dormant. So we need to, and most of the time we don't. We just get up and, go about our lives, and we haven't given attention to our bodies, to our minds. We just kind of go into whatever the indicative thing for that day is. So when you finish that, what you might want to do is, because you're going to do this in the morning, you want to drink water. Okay, you want to make sure it's room temperature or warm water, because now that you have warmed up your organs, what the water is going to do is going to flush out all those toxins that you just kind of like shook up. Okay, as you did the tapping, and then you're going to see your energy throughout the day is going to be much better. You're going to be able to focus a little bit more, more clear. And also because it prevents so many things. So when things come at you, you're already in such a space that it won't impact or affect you as much. It won't say that it won't affect you, but it won't affect you or impact you as much. Okay. So you want to make sure when you do finish doing it, you drink some water. I want to drink some water to make sure that you're removing those toxins. So you want to do it in the morning, like I said, with an empty stomach, because you're going to be, warming up your intestine. So you don't want to do it with a full belly. We don't want anybody getting sick. Anybody has any questions for me?
I have a question.
Yes.
The facial tapping.
Yeah.
Should it be both sides or just the side that you write with?
Like this side you write with, whatever, if you're comfortable. You can do both sides if you want.
Okay.
It's mostly just one side because it's all connected. It's all just the same points. Okay.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be both sides. If you want to switch because you got tired of one side, it's no big deal because they're all connected. The same points are connected.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions?
I was just gonna say, this is probably like my second time experiencing with tapping, but I'm new to it. And one thing that we were doing after there was like this affirmation, like after doing, I'm deeply and completely happy with, or something like that. But one of the phrases that my coach was actually teaching us was like, we can also say, now I'm grateful and happy now that, and just put something positive at the end of the affirmation. So like after, basically like letting go of the negative stuff, but then also I am grateful and happy now that I have, or I'm grateful and happy now that I feel. So I really like the affirmations too.
Yeah. And just so you know, I mean, that was just an example affirmation. One thing, you can add anything to the end of it. Always reminding, you can add anything. One thing you want to make sure you incorporate in those affirmations is the acceptance of self, right? Because we are who we are. I always like to say, whichever way you are is perfect. And the reason why I say it's perfect, not in a sense of what we think perfect is, in a sense that the good and the bad, when it shows up, it's because there's something there to be transformed, something to be shifted, right? And so the reason why I say it's perfect is because if something that comes up and it's like, okay, there's a concern, because it needs to be removed. We wouldn't know what needs to be removed or changed if it didn't show up. And because it's showing up, it's perfect, right? Because now we can do something about it and not just be, let it be there or dormant, whatever it may be. So that's why I say, whatever it is, whichever way you are, it's perfect, because whatever the bad is, whatever the issue is, whatever the block is, because it's showing up because it needs to be removed, transformed, or getting rid of, right? So that you can function and do what you set out to do. And that's why when I say it's perfect. So whatever you want to add in terms of affirmation, that's great. Always making sure that you incorporate the acceptance of where you are, whichever way that is, right? So that way you can also, move forward.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This has been great.
Yeah. Anyone else? Nobody else have any other questions?
Yeah.
What's that? Okay. I'll go ahead and give my mic over to the host.
Yeah, great presentation. I believe that is great value that can stay with people even after today, especially as brought up earlier, anyone who has children with special needs, but all of us, is something that's good to know that anyone can use this at any time to reset themselves. So thank you, Rafaela, for putting that together, because I believe that that's something that everyone could use. I'm going to go ahead and just get the final screens. But does anyone have any other questions or thought or any comments on EFT? If so, speak your mind. All right. Well, Rafaela is going to also offer a energy healing workshop. So as we go through the body segment, you're going to see a few different workshops on different things, and this will be our energy healing workshop, and that will be July 2nd. Again, those of you who already registered and received emails, you will receive an email on that, and you can go ahead and sign up, and it will be done remotely. But also, if you know anyone that could benefit from it, please let them know, both to sign up and or when you receive the email, share it with them, and they can also jump in for that Zoom presentation. At some point, once we are free from quarantine, we will do some of these workshops in person. We may do a 30-day redemption expo or a festival, and bring all this wonderful information and people together so we could all meet, but also do some of these exercises. Again, make sure you share 30-day redemption with friends, families. Let people know what we're doing. It is a great work, and I hope that everyone is receiving the maximum benefit And go ahead and, do some more of those exercises today. Try to have a beautiful day. The weather should be great across the country. Get out, enjoy yourself, and have a fantastic day. All right, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Wonderful day. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.